Well, hello everyone. It's like here, show you right here is a Magic Jack, set up right here. As you see right here is that I have is say the it's like the window right here is like for Magic Jack it is, and you see right here the normal things that if you could probably remember seeing it's like on like what you call an ordinary phone. It is an ordinary phone line phone pay phone. It is. It's like if you were to remember the typical things that you would normally see on like a phone, pay phone. It's like maybe on like what you say is like any other desktop say computer it is. But basically with these tools right here, and I would probably think about with most people if they will be familiar with any type of phone accessories, such as maybe senior citizens, age of 65 or older, anybody like that more likely that the basic that things that you would have right here, of course, will be as like you have end and send and end, and of course is the normal numbers you would see on like the telephone keypad it is. But you basically see right here is you had the screen right here, and of course you have right here is the Magic Jack tool, of course, as I have plugged in right here. And if you notice that with the Magic Jack Plus is it has the wireless say it has I guess if you were to have it connected to Wi-Fi, then it would have like let's say a Wi-Fi say connection. It's like if the it's like knowing about really how that works. But with Magic Jack, that I noticed that if you have it plugged into the the Ethernet line, I guess that would be like what you call a separate connection from the actual telephone line. It is like that. There's like two different ways you can use it, like which I explained on the other videos. Is that you got the phone line right here, and of course you have right there on the left will be as the Ethernet line, and more likely that that will be like a line that which call will be separate. It's like from the other connection that you're getting. It's like with your regular. It's like with the the DSL. It's like if it's broadband, say DSL. That they go by, which most telephone companies I guess would go by, is like for 300 megs say per second or anything like that. But I noticed that the red the blue and green lights, of course, would not be say blinking. It is knowing about that is that really that begin to wonder about if this is like two different connections right here, is knowing about that. That whenever the way this works, more likely that that means I guess that the possibility that usually means that there's a better connection with the gadget compared to if you were connected to like the Ethernet line. But in a lot of ways that knowing about that that maybe that's just the way it works, is that knowing about if it has a good connection, if it's connected directly to the computer, because through the computer that I guess the computer software, it's like it requires this is the software it is, and with the software I guess it's able to get say a better connection compared to if you were actually connected to the Ethernet line, and just knowing about that you can still use it that way. But then it's possible that that you can run it to a little bit more expensive telephone bill with that. But other than that, if you were to connect it to like a computer, then it's possible that it won't be much expensive, and you'll more likely be using more of the service provided. It's like say for Magic Jack or any other connections it is. But you have right there is the adapter, and of course what I'm going to be showing you right here, of course, is this keypad right here, and just knowing about, if most of us can remember, it's like the basic controls. It's like you got the pound and then the star. And then of course you have the other controls right here. But anyway, I can only show you so much, of course. But anyway, you got like right here is 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. But basically, you have the menu option, and then of course it's like knowing about it's like exit, and of course it displays your telephone number, and then of course it talks to you about if you like to do international calling, and then of course additional years to say click here, say subscribe for additional years. But anyway, this is basically how the menu looks. And with most people, if most senior senior citizens, whoever, if you were to buy, something like, Magic Jack it is, and just knowing about that, whenever you would plug it into the computer it is, and just knowing about that, the things that you need, just to use it. And if most of us, are familiar with like Skype, that, it works kind of like Skype or, any other company it is, knowing about, exactly how it works, and between like what you call is like the analog dial-up or anything like that, that you could probably think about that, hey, that with this type of connection right here is that, you're talking about that that it, works just a little bit different. I guess more likely they could probably think, anybody could probably think about really that it works about the same. But this reminds me of whenever I used to go use the payphone. It is knowing about, at least you don't even have to put coins in it, of course, but on there into that you may have some bill at some time. It is knowing about what is the magic number, and just knowing about is like that. Hey, it's like if you can learn and understand the basic controls about how the line works, then more likely that this is the agreement. Only $5 a month if you can learn how to improve. It's like the score of knowing about how the system is saying how this works. But other than that, is talk about is like with so far as we say is the study about Magic Jack.